What we've liked and disliked from the Gold Cup slash Copa Oro. Hi, my name is Diego Cerrone. With me, the two pundits, Coach John Martinez, Carlos Castro. We did this for the FIFA Club World Cup, if you saw that video. So we wanted to do it for the Gold Cup. What's up, fellas?
Come
So, boys,
on. Here we
this
John,
is
go.
I'm surprised you don't have your Guatemala jersey.
Dude, I have my flag. Go ahead and have it ready for tomorrow. I'm definitely gonna watch the game in the backyard, I think.
Nice.
It's gotta happen.
I'm so upset we didn't get that Costa Rica Guatemala fucking game. That would have been funny as fuck.
Whoa, would have been funny.
You know
Costa
what's
Rica versus
funny?
Guatemala. That
That
would
would have
be
been fucking fantastic.
that would have been great.
You know what's funny is that I've learned to never predict Copa Oro semifinals or finals, man. Because a couple years ago, I bought tickets to the final in Philly, thinking it would be Mexico USA, and USA ends up losing to Jamaica in the semifinal.
Oh, no way.
I end up seeing Mexico Jamaica. Mexico blows Jamaica out. So it's so hard to predict these tournaments, man.
Yeah, I mean, definitely USA or Mexico will make the final.
Let's hope.
Sometimes it's not both, but one will usually make it.
Right, but you would hope it'd be both.
I mean, I
not,
would hope it was
not,
neither, to be
Not
not
this
fair.
this
year.
time.
Not this
Not this
time.
time.
Not this time around.
Not this time, man. Not this
Uh,
time around.
we're recording on Tuesday, July 1st. Tomorrow, July 2nd, it'll be both semifinals, USA, Guatemala, 7 o'clock Eastern, and then Mexico, Honduras, 10 p.m. Eastern. So, guys, what have we liked so far about the tournament? John, you go first.
I'm just gonna say Guatemala. I mean, straight off the back, they've been the underdogs. They've been really surprising in terms of quality. I think not really expecting much from them. Well, I knew going into this tournament they were playing better than usual, but then seeing them playing against Jamaica, and honestly, Jamaica has been shit in the bed. They have their Premier League players, they have this coach, but they just don't click. They don't really mesh well, so they struggle in that aspect. But watching Guatemala and just how much better they were than Jamaica, and they were able to kind of play some entertaining football. And defensively, they were sharp. And then the attack, they were kind of just like linking up from time to time and creating some really, really very like beautiful chances at goal. And that was just the first game. And then they played Panama. And I'm like, okay, let's see how they do against Panama. Panama's in form. Panama's been beating a bunch of good teams, USA, one of them, and they lost. I'm like, okay, 1-0 is not the end of the world. You can still go and beat Guadeloupe. And they did that 3-2. They scored 3 goals. And then against Canada too, overhyped. All this Jesse March kind of just I guess hurrah and rah rah bullshit kind of didn't really translate into the football because they were not good.
Hey, man,
They were
they're missing half their players.
oh fuck off, dude. He was just good. He just shot he shot himself in the foot for that one.
Bad. It was bad. It was bad.
Bad. But like I said, I think that Canadian hype, not good. They were not good at all. I thought they were very bad. I thought they were really obviously they were playing a man down, but deserved. And that PK wasn't a PK in my opinion. Very soft. I think it was gifted. And then I mean Guatemala kind of was in control, just looking for an equalizer, and they're scoring some pretty fantastic goals as well. And then luckily, I thought if they went into overtime, I thought they were going to beat Canada just because of the pressure that was
Yeah.
kind of building on Canada with playing a man down. And I thought, I'm like, I was kind of scared to be honest. I was like, listen, if they go into penalties, Canada might have, I mean, obviously it's penalties, so it's like 50-50. So I'm like, this might be their cop out that they might advance because of this. And fuck, man. But the emotions were going because I was like, we might shit the bed after Pinto had missed that one at the end. He had skied
Yeah.
it, fucking skied it back to Antigua and shit, bro. I was like, oh no, bro, no, this is not happening.
John,
And
how
then
how has it been watching the tournament with your pops? Obviously, he's from Guatemala, Guatemalan roots.
um,
Guatemala hasn't been this far in a while, so how's that been?
the games have been pretty late, and my dad's a hardworking man. So by the time the games are on, he's kind of snoozing. But I'm in the family chat sending like updates. I send like the goals when they're being scored and stuff.
Nice.
But after they beat Canada, me and him were like chirping and just chatting it up, and he was hyped beyond the moon. I don't know if you guys ever saw the videos when we actually watched the Gold Cup game here against it was against Guadeloupe, and they made the comeback.
Oh
I
yeah,
That was the
yeah, yeah.
happiest I think I've ever seen him.
Yeah, the happiest I think my dad's ever been, and like
Like, he was running up and down the stairs, bro,
It's the
every
best
goal was
sporting
nuts.
event you guys have ever been to.
yeah,
It was up there.
it was up there. It was
Top
insane.
5.
The
What?
atmosphere. Yeah, it was. You would have thought we were in Guatemala City
It
watching
looks,
that game.
yeah,
Dude,
it
it was
looks dope.
insane. It was everyone in blue and white, and obviously that was probably his first time ever watching Guatemala play. live. So I don't know how many hijo de putas he dropped and how many vamos hijo de puta. You know, it was insane. But
We should drop that video tomorrow, right? As
we
a
we,
hype
sh-
video.
we should. It's very fitting. But I think tomorrow he's pretty excited. He thinks this is probably our best chance to beat the U.S. because I think he's watched a little bit of the U.S. and he's like, that's not really
Not
too.
good.
He's not really too impressed.
Yeah.
So I think if it's any time, I think it's tomorrow where I think Guatemala kind of writes that piece of history for them, and beats USA. And honestly, I think it's a very good chance and a very high possibility that they can sneak away with something tomorrow.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but these games go straight to penalties, right? So they really
Correct.
got
Yep.
to hold off for 90 minutes, and
And see what happens.
yeah,
What time
and test
is
your
the
luck.
game tomorrow?
7 p.m.
7.
Trying to have it in the backyard.
Bring projector?
I think so.
I have
You
it here. I'll
gotta
bring it.
bring it, bro. 7 p.m. I'm trying to invite a few other Guatemalans over. I told Kat already, my babe, we gotta watch it. Invite your mom. Invite whoever we
Is
need to invite.
is Vic going?
I might shoot him a text in a bit and be
Yeah,
like,
you
yo,
should.
pop on over. I mean, listen, it's perfect. 7 p.m. My dad's out of work
That's
at
perfect.
5. It's probably the best thing we can do this week. I hope it goes well because I'm pretty excited to be honest. So
Let's go. All right.
dude, I did it. Fucking, I'm buzzing.
Chapin. Chapin
Chop,
power.
Chapin power.
Those videos have been going crazy on TikTok.
So good. Bro, they're just all these Guatemalan fans, they're just happy to be here.
For
They're
sure.
just they're happy to obviously make it this far. They always support the national team whenever they're around. They support in abundance, dude.
Yeah.
And they're always loud for their team. They always go all out for their team. They travel very, very heavy wherever they play. So I think it's just it's big for Guatemala. It's big for the people. And obviously with whatever's going on right now in the country, you know, with immigration and like ICE, they don't really give a shit, and they're like
Right.
they're kind of embracing that, and they're like, no matter what, we're still gonna go support our national team and make as much noise and fucking rattle whoever the fuck we need to rattle. They play in fucking Missouri tomorrow, and I really hope they fucking figure out a way.
I think I saw
They,
that it was sold out, right? Game for
Really?
I
the
don't
US,
know.
I think a game for the US is sold out tomorrow. Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, like the U.S. as I guess as poor as they've been, I think they like record like the most amount of people watching the game the other night.
Yeah. The PKs.
I saw, yeah, people like are tuning in. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if like those true Americans come
Caught a
out,
little buzz. Yeah.
yeah, and they get out there. But I really hope what these Guatemalan fans figure something out and they travel
I think they will.
and get there. So I mean,
I
listen,
don't
They've probably been the best fan base of the Gold
Gold
Cup, to be
Cup,
honest. Besides maybe Mexico, because there's a big population here. But
yeah,
besides them, like Guatemala's been the best traveling fan base.
and a lot of Mexico games are being played in Cali. So obviously, like the USA game in Guatemala is in Missouri, and then the Honduras Mexico games in California. So they're kind of like
they know.
focusing on who
They know what they're
USA and
doing.
Mexico, of course. So I mean,
I'm gonna guess 70-30 USA fans to Guatemala fans.
and
70-30.
you'll hear just Guatemalan fans.
Yeah. So in that
So
stadium, it'll probably be like, I don't know,
yeah,
15,000, 18,000 Guatemalans.
listen, man,
We'll see.
fucking, I'm pumped.
Well,
Get the camera out tomorrow.
Yep, for sure. Carlos, what have you liked about the Copa Oro?
I would say this year more than like other years. I think the competition has been pretty even, like in terms of talent. You see Dominican Republic taking Mexico to the fucking end of the game, having them stressing. Again, Guatemala, making it to semifinal, beating Canada, Panama, who's also been one of the best teams, and
Yep.
CONCACAF losing
They
on
lost.
Honduras, Jamaica also not making it again, their ass beat. So yeah, I think that leading into the qualifiers that are coming up, now I'm like, hey, it's anyone's fucking chance to make it to the World Cup for the first time. I mean, Jamaica's group's all Caribbean teams. I can see one of them, winning that group and making it to the World Cup for the first time. Panama has a hard group with Guatemala and I think El Salvador. Again, anybody can win that group. And Costa Rica has Honduras and a couple other teams. So I think overall it's going to be an entertaining 3 months of World Cup qualifying for CONCACAF. And right now they're all in form. So that starts in 2 months and this just leads up to that. So it's going to be an exciting watch.
About to fly out to Guatemala in November, bro. They play 2 games in Guatemala in November. Yep.
That would be fire, bro.
Me and my dad were looking at it. 2 games at home in November.
Should we do a pub footy trip? Just a little Chapin experience?
They play El Salvador and Suriname.
Suriname, yeah.
They're pretty good though, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, Suriname's really good,
They're
bro.
also very good, yeah.
Yeah.
but did they not perform well in this tournament?
Well, they were in Costa Rica's group with Mexico. They played decent against Costa Rica.
Yeah,
I think
they're not
that's
bad
when
though.
Costa Rica scored in like the 95th minute PK to beat them, and
Yeah,
they played okay against
But yeah,
Mexico. Dominican Republic also played well against Costa Rica and Mexico.
yeah,
So that was a tough group for Suriname. So it's not like they had a horrible performance, whatever.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. I
but
mean,
yeah, overall,
yeah,
even.
it's gonna be a great qualifiers. I think like with the more teams that are able to qualify in CONMEBOL, like well, I think we talked about it, right? Like it watered down the eliminatorias in South America, which are always like my favorite thing to watch. Powerhouse qualifiers, but I feel like CONCACAF is gonna make really good quality watch. A lot of storylines, right? First teams like gonna making a first World Cup in a while. The fans are gonna be absolutely insane. The stadiums are gonna be explosive. So
yep.
it's gonna be a very fun few months of CONCACAF qualifiers. So definitely
Yeah,
excited
I
about
mean,
that.
there's spots for possibly 5 CONCACAF teams plus the 3, so it could be 8 CONCACAF teams in this World Cup. So obviously, 3 of the 3 group leaders make it automatically, and then the best 2 second places. So even like, last game of the fucking qualifiers, teams battling for that second place spot
Yeah,
to take them to repechaje, like those games are gonna be insane to watch. So I'm excited. It's gonna be
Eh,
exciting 2 months because it's
eh,
gonna be back to back to back games. It's gonna be nuts.
Yeah, yeah, it's like October, whatever it is, back to back, and it's like I'm like, Dad, imagine fucking Guatemala makes their first ever World Cup, and it's here in our backyard. I'm like, it's like
Oh,
the
that's
it's
yeah.
like the perfect thing for us. Like then you can see Ecuador, Guatemala, like it's just
So
like
many games.
it's gonna be like this cultural overload of just like dopamine and just fucking being the happiest person for a month and some change, dude.
Yeah.
I really hope Guatemala can take this form into the qualifying and do something big
it's
because
gonna be like CONCACAF Fall Madness is when it's gonna be.
yeah.
It's gonna be dope. Super excited.
Yeah.
I mean, I think for me, what I've liked, and I'll just go. I'll lean on the American route. Is I'm liking some of the players that USA has been highlighting. I think one has been Tillman. I think Tillman has really carried the load of the creativity.
He's good.
Yeah, he's solid. He's solid, and he's always been solid. But I think now with more playing time, now with the more elevated role, I think you really seen his quality. I think he's finding a way to maybe put himself in a starting 11.
People have been saying that. Like
Yeah,
it's not like a crazy thing that you're
it's
mentioning
not
it.
far fetched.
People see him in the middle with like Weston McChicken, Tyler Adams, and he's the other guy there. And kind of they're saying Eunice is kind of the oddball out right now
Yeah,
if he can't
I mean,
sort himself out.
he basically is taking over Gio Reyna's creative 10 spot, right? And again, could be it's great, but it's also a problem, right? Because we all want to see Gio play. But I'm excited that somebody took the bull by the horns and actually is taking advantage. I mean, I think Chris Richards as well has been so solid in this tournament.
Big
So
time.
yeah, I think there's been some players like we mentioned, right? Majority of these players won't play on the full squad, but I'm happy to see that some players actually really stepped up and really have put themselves in the conversation for a starting spot with the A squad.
So they said that they're like he was one of the guys. So he's one of the guys in that conversation, right? Who's putting himself in that position. Plus Bayer Leverkusen just signed him.
The 50
So
mil.
yeah. So from
Great signing. Yeah,
PSV, he goes there. So if his form is on par over there, that sets him up for success. They said Sebastian Berhalter is in talks with Bayern Munich. Yeah, that company really fancies him. I saw it on Twitter. It
Interesting.
says Bayern Munich and company really fancy Sebastian Berhalter,
yeah.
and they said they gave him his. This is a pretty big comparison. They were like he was kind of giving Michael Ballack vibes.
No, no.
That's what I read, and we'll pull up the tweet for another day or something where
Yeah,
we cut out like a snippet of this, and I'll show it. But literally, that's what it said. I was like, oh, interesting. I mean, he's been good, but I don't think. I mean, obviously, Michael Ballack is like a fucking legend
Yeah.
midfielder
Tank.
of this
yeah,
game, so that's a tough one. But listen, if people are making it and if people are saying it. It's got to be something that might maybe spark the conversation. So he's another guy who we should be looking at. I think
yeah.
obviously people love Diego Luna.
Yeah, of course.
He's like a
Yeah,
little fucking
Passion.
he's like a pest, and yeah, that's the thing. I think the passion aspect of wanting to play for the badge and putting it all on the line, kind of giving like old school vibes of how guys should really be showcasing their ability for the national team. So I think those three guys I think have been pretty pretty kind of like to highlight, I think, to make a name for themselves, I guess, for the A team, whatever that
Yeah,
means.
yeah.
What do you say about the goalie though? I don't think the goalie is good. I think he's
Really?
piss poor. Yeah, I don't think he's good.
I mean,
I
neither.
think I mean if you just think about the people were talking about the PK shootout, obviously Costa Rica took dog shit penalties, the ones that he saved.
Yeah.
Um,
I
but
know. I don't
I
care.
don't think he's been good. I think he's ridiculously bad on the ball.
He's
Um,
not great. He's not great with his feet.
No, I don't
That's
think he's
that's
good.
for
I
sure.
I, I think Turner makes those saves too. If he's in the PK shootout, I think Turner makes those saves. Maybe he makes more.
Right, right.
I
Yeah,
think
Turner's great in PKs.
Turner's great at PK, so I'm not. That's not my deciding factor if he should be the guy going forward. Like you said, he's been pretty poor on the ball, very poor on the ball. I mean, listen, if anything, this is probably the best tournament for him to kind of showcase what he has. I mean, I don't really like him. I don't think he's that guy going forward. But tough goalie selection for the U.S. men's national team.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is tough. He doesn't convince me either. I still need to see more. But for me, it's hard to move away from Turner even now because of how solid Turner was in the World Cup. I mean, man, we saw Turner in person against England, and he looked elite.
phenomenal.
He looked elite. I mean, USA played elite that game, right? But I don't know. For me, it's hard to move away from a guy that has World Cup experience. It's
Agree.
just,
I agree. Yeah, yeah.
you know
I
what I
mean,
mean?
And
Like,
European experience. He's
yeah,
fucking
exactly.
Crystal Palace in England, going to Lyon now.
Yeah,
Big, games at the Emirates. Like that
yeah.
experience Freeze doesn't have. And
no, I'm telling you that no matter whether he was playing or not, that makes a big difference. He's around elite company, elite training, everything ups his game tenfold. Obviously, you want him to be playing more, but I think this Leon opportunity that we've been reading about, if he
but
gets it, that'd be
they just
massive
got they just
They
to
might have
leave.
gotten saved though. They might have gotten saved to
Uh,
really.
They can
yeah.
appeal, yeah.
I think PSG saved them because but yeah, I think PSG saved them because they sold a player to them and they made the payment early, so they have the
Oh, okay,
funds to appeal.
Perfect.
got it.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how that's working,
That's
but
that's big time because that's your one. Their goalkeeper's leaving, and then they're in Europa League, so it's a perfect opportunity, and I think it's leading into the World Cup. You have someone with World Cup experience who's played in Europe, who's played in elite company. And listen, you can't. I think right now you can't stray away from him because one is short notice, and two he's probably your most experienced and trustworthy guy on the team.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, and I think him and his agent wouldn't have made that move unless he knew he was going to start, you know? So
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's hope. Let's hope that's the case. But yeah, I think some Americans have made a name for themselves, and I hope that continues tomorrow. I mean, we'll see, right? With against Guatemala, but yeah, I also like the little bite that they
sorry.
had, right? They think they got into a little scuffle last match, and I like to see that again. I like to see some fight and some anger, which is
I think that
something
I
that
think that's what everyone's saying. They're taking that away from everything, right?
yeah,
We're like they want to see more of that now. Like, you know what? Fuck it. If we're not playing good football, let's show some
whack 'em.
dog. Let's show some
they
dog.
almost lost against Costa Rica. That post in the last minute saved
Costa
their
Rica played way better the last like 20
yeah,
minutes,
yeah,
than the U.S.
We got to
yeah,
sort out
exactly.
So
the right back situation, brother.
Exactly. As a team, still very questionable, but some players have done their part. Dislikes. What have we disliked from the Gold Cup, Copa Oro?
They're all
um,
West Coast games.
yep, that's what I was gonna say. They're all on the West Coast.
All West Coast games, man. Like,
Late games.
yeah, late games. They're all on the West Coast. They're focused, I guess, on one demographic. But like, you bring them out east, you're also gonna get
There's enough
a mix.
stadiums for everyone in the East. They could
You
have done Club World Cup here. They could have done fucking and Gold Cup here. There's plenty
Yeah,
of stadiums.
yeah,
they played in Red Bull before, so you could have done the same thing. Guatemala could have played a couple games at the Red Bull, and insane, you would have had fucking 30,000 people there,
Any Central American
easy.
team could have just
Yeah,
played out. So
so I think them solely just keep it on the West Coast. I think was a big fumble, was a big miss because you do get a lot of empty stadiums, and honestly,
there was a lot of empty stadiums this year in the
because
West Coast.
they played a lot in football stadiums, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, and I get what they were trying to do. They like doubled up a lot of games, right? Like games before
Yeah.
Mexico, games before the US, to do like a double header. But I think it's still not fun to see 70,000 person stadium empty with 10,000 people, not even. So definitely agree. Yeah, empty stadiums times. Carlos, what do you think?
Honestly, same thing Johnny said about the stadiums. Besides that, I mean, I think it's been a fun tournament to watch. I don't really have any negatives besides it just all being in the West Coast,
Yeah.
to be fair.
Anything from the on the Costa Rica side of the house?
Honestly, I thought we played decent. It's obviously a new generation of players. It's the first time any of those players, or majority of those players, have played in the Gold Cup. It's a new generation, new coach, playing
Beautiful.
offensive football. For the last like 10 plus years, we've been a defensive team, quality but defensive. Now we're seeing some offensive players, making a name, and it's a different style of football for Costa Rica. Bunch of young players, they were running. They had those players. Those guys have tanks on them. Obviously,
Yeah.
most of them are under 22 years old. But overall, they didn't lose the game. Technically, they lost to the U.S. in penalties. That was their
No.
only loss. But they didn't lose, so I'll take that as a positive. Leading up into the qualifiers, so not too mad at them or too disappointed in them. They should have beat the United States. I think they took horrific penalties. It's probably my worst criticism of them.
Hey, that's
Is
fine
their
though.
penalties.
That's fine though. I think like you want them to have that experience, right? Because
Yeah,
hopefully they can improve. Hopefully, if they do make the World Cup, they do go to penalties, right? You guys in that infamous 2014, you guys do beat Greece in PKs, right? So that's good. I'll
yeah,
take it
not,
as a win.
yeah. I'll take it was a decent tournament for Costa Rica. It's not too many negatives. Just something to build on for qualifiers coming up.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think my positive would be just the upsets that we've seen, right? Canada losing, Costa Rica losing, Panama losing, right? There's been a lot of upsets in this Copa Oro. I think more than normal, which I think highlights everything that we've talked about, right? The parity in the region, teams are improving, teams are gearing up for the qualifiers. So we saw, I think, every team besides the U.S. bring their A squad. So that's always fun to see, right? Fun to see teams actually give a fuck about this tournament. So I do appreciate that from the teams, and I'm excited. I think again we talked about it. It's building a lot of hype for these qualifiers. So I think it leaves a good taste in my mouth that we're still gonna have some quality qualifiers still left a couple of months before the World Cup draw in December. So I love that. I love World Cup qualifier drama. I don't care if it's South America, Europe, Central America, right? I love seeing it. I love seeing people that never been to a World Cup, right? Seeing the passion, seeing the stadiums, because it's what the World Cup is about. So I can't wait. I can't wait for it. So
We might have to go to Guatemala City, bro.
we might,
Hopefully there's like a day where Guatemala plays one day and Costa Rica plays the next day or something like that.
and we just
Take
bang
that
it
quick
out.
30-minute flight to Costa Rica from Guatemala, and
Is
we're
it
there for
really?
the game. Yeah, they're very
Gotta
close.
be.
Maybe like an hour max.
Let's see if there's a supporter group out there that would like to host us in Guatemala or Costa Rica. Please let us
Let's
know.
go,
And
please. Oh,
reach
dude, it'd
out
be
to
insane.
at Pub Footy because we'd love to be there.
Dude,
Uh,
yes.